Hello and welcome to the Mild and Lazy Guys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
And on today's super scary, creepy episode, Halloween edition, we've got a good one for you. We are reviewing what year was it?
99, I think.
1999 cult classic Idle Hands. We've got an update on one of the most famous cold cases in history. In the junk mail segment, we're going to talk a little bit about the Cowboys and what they've been up to, maybe the World Series. Of course, we've got Mount Rushmore. We're going to talk about our favorite horror movie franchises, and we're going to talk about maybe the top 4 or 5 things that just scare the ever-living crap out of us. But a good episode today. But before we get started, can I please ask you to rate and review us on iTunes and Apple Podcasts? Every review helps. Every rating helps. So if you could do that, please do that. That would help us out. And you can follow us on Instagram at Mild and Lazy on Instagram, or we do have a merch link up if you want to grab you some merch. But let's get started with the show. So what have you been up to, bud?
Well, first and foremost, since our time apart, we lost a real one.
Yep.
We lost
pour one out.
The greatest cat that ever lived, Eli Weisenheimer Jusenberg. Passed away about 2 weeks ago, age of, 14 and a half cat years, or human years, whatever that is in cat years. He lived a good life. But, I don't know, man, it was just unexpected and sudden and really bummed me out.
Yeah, it hadn't been a good time in this house for animals that like me, because not only did Eli go, that you made a executive familial decision to get rid of the pup.
I didn't make that decision. That was a pregnant woman's decision that I couldn't argue.
So Dolly, the pup, is gone as well. She just had a lot of puppy energy.
She got rehomed. Some lady that Claire knows that lives out by the lake with like land that backs up right to the lake and kids, and she stays at home and works, so they can just give her more time and attention than we could. And I don't know, Claire was just like, I don't think it's going to work with the baby coming and with all the other animals, and I don't think she really liked Dolly that much. I really did. That dog, that was a good dog.
Yeah, it's just a bad week for dogs who like me, because as I've stated on the show previously, is Jolene and Hank, they don't like me.
I don't think they like me that much.
Jolene
either.
played possum last time I was, or one of the last times I was here, and let me pet her, and then she turned around and bit me. So you got my eye on you over there.
Well, they got fleas anyways now. That sucks. It's a bad week for my pets, actually, or a bad month. Ever since you promised that new episode, you just cursed my family.
Yeah, okay. We get down to the root of it. It's my fault.
It's all your fault. You killed Eli.
All right.
Jesus, that was
Don't
my
put that on
best
me.
cat friend.
Don't put that on me.
Well,
no, Eli was a good one, and he'll be missed.
Well, luckily, my sister-in-law is like that cat lady who always has, new kittens, and she thinks she has one for us. It's like, I don't know. I guess it's a calico, whatever.
I don't know. I can't tell cats apart.
I can't either. It's not a solid cat, so it's like, it has like little spots on it, and she said it's the most laid back, most, family friendly, like easygoing, which just kind of just describes Eli, but with a female. So eventually we'll get that cat, but I just wanted to put that out for Eli. Rest in peace, brother.
Rest in peace, Eli. All right. Anything happy or
no? More bad news. Claire's got to close her shop.
Oh, man.
Closing the shop up because she's having the baby, and that fucking baby's going to ruin everything. No, it just makes more sense because she wouldn't have, she's like the epitome of a small business, so she's the only employer. She's the owner and the only employee, so with it being closed for 4 months and having to pay all the rent and everything else, we'd be out $10,000 if we didn't, if we stayed closed for 4 months. So I was like, well, you can just pocket that or, cut your losses, take what you already have in the bank, save it. And she can just work from home. So she's doing all kinds of projects. She's doing all kinds of custom work. And she already found somewhere to like another small business that will let her like use space for free for parties and classes.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Because that's
good.
That's how that's what's killing her. She's like, I want to have a storefront so I can host parties and classes. And if this one comes through, she'll do it for free. And she'll still do a bunch of custom work and make custom jewelry and just, custom everything and just work from home.
There you go.
Make more money.
Sounds like win-win.
It's a win-win. It was a tough decision. I know it was hard for her because she's had that business for like 10 years. And
well, yeah. And when you start something that, that's your baby, you pour everything into it. So.
Yeah. But I mean, I was on the side that it doesn't make sense to keep the business if we're just going to lose $10,000 in 4 months.
Yeah. No,
So,
that's.
And it finally clicked with her. And I was like, and then after that point, you're just going to have to go back to work in this big hole, give our baby, to whoever, a daycare or one of our parents. And this way she can just stay home with the kid and just work from the house. I was like, I wish I had that opportunity.
No, for sure.
Stay home with the kid and work and actually make money while my man went out and made money and provided.
No, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's a bummer.
It's a
kind
bummer.
of end of an era type deal.
Yeah, she already posted all about it, but as you can see, like she's got stuff right here on this table. Like she just finished a big project. She's got all these other projects lined up, and it's gonna work out.
Good.
But and got my birthday coming up, so tonight basically kicks off like my little vacation. So tomorrow we're going to my parents for because I don't want to have like a big birthday thing. So I was like, let's just have both sides family because we have small families. There'll be like 10 of us there. Have it at my sister's house. Just get it out of the way so then we can come home for Halloween with Ellie. Watch the Cowboy game.
Mm-hmm. Settle in.
Yep. And then Monday, we're going to a place called LaRue, Texas, where they have like these little cabins set up that are like tiny homes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a small kitchen with like a mini fridge and a stove, and then like basically like beds, like a queen bed with a loft on top.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just as basic as you can get,
That's
but
cool.
it has like one wall is just like a giant window with like a curtain you can open and
I think
close.
I've seen some stuff
It's called
like that.
it's called Getaway Dallas, and they
Yeah.
have them all around in not every major city, but that's their idea is like it's a getaway from the city to just go out to the country.
Right.
And then we'll be back for Wednesday's my actual birthday, and that's when they have that throwback cinema at Showbiz, and they're showing The Shining.
Oh, cool.
So we got 2 tickets for that. And
Sweet,
then,
man.
Yeah, I don't go back to work till Friday, so I'm just stoked to be here. Like, not a care in the world.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I didn't know if I'd see you before your actual birthday, so I brought you, a few gifts tonight.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I wanted you to open it on, on the recording, but like I said, my gift giving skills pale in comparison to yours. So
You did good, man. Got one of my favorite books. Got me a cool T-shirt, some cards.
all right, cool.
Everything I like.
Yeah, nothing going on with me. We went out to see my sister a couple weeks ago. We went out to Eastland, so that's always a nice little getaway. It's a small town, like right on the way to Abilene on 20.
I'm gonna have to go out there sometime.
It's just quiet. It's small town. Like we went out Friday night and saw and watched their high school play, and their stadium's like right in the center of town.
That's cool.
It's like grass, it's not turf, it's grass. It's just, I guess like football, in my opinion, like in its purest form. Small, not a huge, the kids aren't, there's not 100 kids out there. Most kids play both sides of the ball. It was really cool to go see a little 3A game,
The way you describe it sounds like a great time to go out for a Friday night football game.
Yeah, and they had a guy with a big, barbecue pit on wheels, so you had to smell the barbecue in the air. The band was playing, so it was cool. And then my nephew played flag football the next morning, and that's always fun to see the little guys out there running around like chickens with their heads cut off. And they've got this one restaurant that we always like to go to. It's called May's Meat Market, and they butcher their own cows, and they have, you can buy meat, steaks, ground beef, whatever, right there out of the case, and they have a kitchen. It's just like home cooking.
Nice.
And it's all fresh. It's all good, but it's just a nice little getaway. It's 2 hours away, so you're not too far out, but it's a nice little getaway. It's much slower than, it's hard to imagine Waxahachie being fast paced, but
Slower.
It's slower out there. About 3,000 people. If you do go out there, they do have an historic hotel, like that's downtown. It's been there since, I don't know, the 20s. and they rent out rooms, and they're super nice, super clean. My sister knows the people who own it. The rooms are like really, really nice.
Well, if it's haunted, Claire'd be interested.
I'm sure it's got some stories.
I don't know why she wants to stay in some fucking haunted place, but she's determined.
But yeah, nothing else other than that. Just work, and yeah, I'm pretty boring.
I'm extremely boring.
You know, the schedule caught up with us again, as it usually does, between kids getting sick or us getting sick.
That's why you shouldn't make promises, man.
Yeah,
as soon as you did that, I was just shaking my head and be like, that's not going to happen.
Nope. And we do apologize because I can kind of hear it in my headphones. If the audio is just a little weird, we're in a different room tonight. We're in the dining room, so.
And we got 2 Chiweenies walking around.
Yeah, I got 2 dogs kind of click-clacking their nails on the floor. But yeah, so if y'all hear something, just please, bear with us for this week.
We'll be back next week with a whole new episode. So it's okay.
Say
we'll
it.
make up for it.
Don't say that. Okay. With that, let's move on to junk mail. And I have the one and only story. Are you familiar with the Zodiac Killer?
Yes, I have heard of him.
Okay. It has long been one of the longest running cold cases, the biggest mysteries. It's kind of the holy grail when it comes to serial killer lore.
Like other than Jack the Ripper, there's not many like unsolved serial killers bigger than that.
Well, he's been ID'd after, I don't know, he started terrorizing San Francisco in the late 60s.
Yeah, like 50 years.
Let me read a short little passage from the article, and then I've got some audio. This is from Fox News. A team of specialists who investigate cold cases says it has identified the Zodiac Killer, one of America's most prolific serial murderers who terrorized communities in the San Francisco area in the late 1960s with a series of brutal slayings and unsolvable riddles. The Case Breakers, a team of more than 40 law enforcement investigators, journalists, military intelligence officers, has tackled other mysteries such as the D.B. Cooper hijacking heist, the disappearance of former labor union boss Jimmy Hoffa, and other unsolved cases. The group believes the killer is responsible for slaying hundreds of miles away. The group believes the killer is responsible for a slaying hundreds of miles away that was never linked to him. The Zodiac Killer has been connected to 5 murders that occurred in 1968 and 69 in the San Francisco area. Unlike most serial killers, the Zodiac taunted authorities with complex ciphers and letters sent to newspapers and law enforcement. The slayings have spawned books, movies, and documentaries in the years since, and the amateur professional sleuths have poured over the case in an effort to unmask the killer. In the decade since the first murder, many potential suspects have been investigated. The Case Breakers is now saying that it has identified the Zodiac Killer as Gary Francis Post, who passed away in 2018. The team's years of digging uncovered new forensic evidence and photos from Post's dark room. One image features scars on the forehead of Post that match scars on a sketch of the Zodiac, the team said. So, yeah, after all this, it's just a dude named Gary.
Fucking Gary. That's the most disappointing part. I was hoping it'd be like some awesome name. I don't know. Something very mysterious and ominous. And no, it's just Gary, who probably was like a maintenance man.
Yeah, he was probably like a...
So, does it say like, what the fuck happened? Because that guy was so prolific for a period of time. And then, did you say when he died?
2018, yeah. They just missed him.
Just missed him, but like, was he active for the last 45 years?
I don't know. Let me play this audio. Let me see if I can do this correctly. Let me play this and let's see what they say. And now.
Thank you, Harris. Question: has the Zodiac Killer finally been unmasked? Eric Sean has more on that from our New York City newsroom. A lot of history, Eric. What do we know?
Yeah, it is, Bill. It is one of the most haunting unsolved cold cases, the infamous Zodiac Killer. Well, the Zodiac terrorized the San Francisco Bay Area in the late 1960s. Believed responsible for at least 7 murders between 1968 and 69. Zodiac claimed 37 killings. Well, the Zodiac taunted authorities for years by mailing boasting confession letters and chilling cryptograms to newspapers with his notorious Zodiac symbol. The public speculation has linked nearly a dozen possible suspects, but the nonprofit group thecasebreakers.org says the Zodiac was a man named Gary Francis Post from Northern California, an Air Force radar technician who died in 2018 at 80 years old. Casebreakers head Tom Colbert, who ID'd hijacker D.B. Cooper, says he's confident they've nailed the Zodiac.
My FBI guys say it's irrefutable. It's a match. We also have 6 people that he's confessed to that he was the Zodiac. 3 of them on our court affidavits. So we strongly feel that. And then, of course, one of the murder scenes in Riverside, we have counted 6 different similarities to the Zodiac at the murder scene.
Colbert says Post and the Zodiac shared unique scars from a car crash, as well as other traits. One man who says he knew Post told the case breakers it makes sense.
He had a great side. He just didn't have a conscience. He could kill indiscriminately, and, you know, it's like one of those letters, I think they called him the most dangerous animal. And, I mean, you know, he's pretty much proven that over the years. You know, he couldn't even stop after he moved up here.
Colbert wants the Riverside Police Department in California to test DNA. They have not responded to our request for comment. Bill?
Well, who the fuck was that guy? That guy seemed to know him personally and knew he was a cold-blooded killer.
They just said that,
and he confessed all those people.
Confessed.
What the fuck? I'd like to know, like, because you know the FBI had like a profile on him, like the behavioral unit.
Yeah, yeah.
And now that they know who it is, or presumably, and they could compare, I want to see like how close they were, because I would bet they would have had like some kind of military. Because he was a smart guy, so like, what did they say, like an Air Force maintenance or mechanic or something?
Yeah, it was like aviation.
So he had to have been a smart guy and probably like, you know, really structured, kind of like how military is. So
yeah.
I bet their profile was pretty spot on, and you know, he's probably on a short list somewhere.
So it says other clues include deciphering letters sent by the Zodiac that revealed him as the killer, said Jen Buchholz, a former Army counterintelligence agent who works on cold cases. In one note, the letters of Post's full name were removed to reveal an alternate message, she told Fox News. Quote, so you've got to know Gary's full name in order to decipher these anagrams, Buchholz said. I just don't think there's any other way anybody would have figured it out. The team believes Post also killed Sherry Jo Bates on October 31st, 1966 in Riverside, California, hundreds of miles south from the San Francisco area and 2 years before the first killing linked to the Zodiac occurred. Bates, 18, was found dead in an alleyway on the Riverside City College campus after her father phoned to police to report her missing. The following year, the authorities received a handwritten letter that led investigators to believe the killing may be linked to the Zodiac killer. In 2016, investigators received an anonymous typed letter from someone who admitted to writing the earlier note and said it was a sick joke. This is a really long article.
I'm glad you're reading it.
But yeah,
I know how it goes with me.
Yeah, it's some dude named Gary, and
so disappointed in you, Gary.
Yeah,
at least change your name to something cool.
It's crazy,
right before you
man.
die. I wonder if he just like relocated and just kind of kept moving and kept the killing.
Here you go. A California woman who lived next door to Post and his wife told Fox News she believes he's a Zodiac killer after seeing the evidence collected so far. Gwen, who declined to give her last name, said Post and his wife babysat her as a child in the 1970s and 80s, and he would teach her how to shoot firearms several times a week, but was also controlling and abusive towards his wife, she said. She declined to elaborate further. Post also became somewhat of a father figure to her son's friend, she said. Quote, he lived a double life, she said. As an adult, I'm thinking back, and it all kind of makes sense now. At the time, when I was a teenager, I didn't put two and two together until I got older. It hit me full-blown that Gary's the Zodiac.
You know there's a reward, too. I would have flipped in a second, even if it was like my dad, and I'd be like, oh, how much for information on the Zodiac? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the Zodiac killer.
I could pay off
He's
my
80 years old. Yeah, he lived a good life. Fucking give me that money. Sorry, Dad.
Hans Smits told Fox News he spent 10 years hiding.
Smith sounds like a friend of Mets.
Nobody has context. Troy. Hans Smits told Fox News he spent 10 years hiding as a whistleblower who said he escaped a criminal quote-unquote posse headed by Post. The man, who the case breakers only refer to as Will, told Smits the posse roamed California's High Sierra region and that he was groomed into a killing machine. In addition, Will said that he witnessed Post burying murder weapons in the woods, Smits said.
Seems like a lot of people knew this guy was a Zodiac and they just didn't say anything.
Yep.
That's the weirdest
part.
And
they've got pictures of a sketch of the Zodiac and then side by side.
Scale to 1 to 10, how hot is he?
Back in the day, yeah.
What was that, like a 6, 7?
Probably 6. Sherry Jo Bates, on the other hand, was a solid 9.
Oof. Who's that?
That was the one he was linked to years before.
Oh, damn, that's a murder victim.
Was a murder victim.
Oh.
Still a solid 9. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Solid
50
9
years
though.
ago. I was thinking that was like, I don't know, I guess his wife.
No, doesn't show his wife. Yeah. So there you go.
Damn, I can't believe they found the Zodiac. And it was
I know,
Gary
man.
all along.
Fucking Gary.
Should have known.
Should have known.
Never trust a Gary, guys.
Well, think
You heard it here
about
first.
the Green River Killer. That was
Gary Ridgway. Yeah, think about SpongeBob's little pet, Gary.
Gary.
Yep. That's about the only Garys I know. I went to school with a Gary.
Gary Goldman.
Gary Goldman.
Well, shout out Gary if you're listening.
I'm pretty sure his dad's name was Gary too, so that's 4.
Gary.
You know what? Those are the only 2 Garys I trust now.
What was? Well, like with like BTK, it makes sense. Dennis Rader. Dennis is a serial killer name.
Dennis is?
Dennis is definitely
I didn't know that.
killer name. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So shout out to the what are they called? The case breakers. Out
Yeah,
there
they said
doing-
they solved D.B. Cooper too.
Yeah.
And they know where Jimmy Hoffa is?
That's what they claim.
Damn, they've been getting busy.
And it's a team of more than 40 law enforcement investigators, journalists, and military intelligence officers. So, I mean,
for
out
them.
there doing God's work.
Or they're just full of shit. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Okay, so with that, let's move on to our Mount Rushmore segment. And like I mentioned, we are going over our horror franchises and our Mount Rushmore of just the things that scare the shit out of you. So I'm going to let you lead it off. You go first with the movie franchises.
All right, I got the OG here with 13 movies, talking Halloween.
Okay, that's on mine.
First one was 78, then they really busted them out. 81, 82, 88, 89, 95, 98, 2002, 7, 9, 18, 20, and then the newest one's going to be called Halloween Ends. It's coming out in 2022. I got here, they collectively made over $640 million worldwide. Ranks them number 1 in the horror movie franchise.
So they just came out with another one, right?
Halloween Kills.
Okay.
And this is all of the David Gordon Green, like his little trilogy, because Rob Zombie made it before him.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of been like John
It's been
Carpenter only
passed.
made the first one, and then
Yeah.
like next 6 were just whoever, and then Rob Zombie, and then David Gordon Green, and I got on here Danny McBride is actually the co-writer for the last 3, including the upcoming. He's
Wow.
a screenwriter.
Wow, cool.
It is pretty cool.
I may steal one of yours. I don't know. Scream.
Scream.
We've covered Scream 1 on here and Scream 2, I believe.
I think we did the trilogy, and we skipped 4 because like
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
new
yeah.
characters became,
Yeah.
newer generation.
I mean, Ghostface is kind of like a cultural like phenomenon now. Like now on Call of Duty Warzone, like they release Ghostface as like a skin. You can a playable character in the game.
Does he get a gun or is it just a knife?
It's a gun, and you shouldn't do that motion.
I shouldn't. I'm not
No.
jacking off like
You're
at,
jacking
at
off
a 90-degree angle. That's a downward stab motion.
That's
that's that's different.
but yeah. So he's kind of in. They made him like the main character in like the what was it, Scary Movie
Yep.
franchise.
They had
So,
a TV
yeah.
show on MTV,
MTV,
and there's
yep.
a new one coming out next year
Oh, cool.
in 2022.
Yep. So Scream, that was always one of my favorites. What's your number 2?
Number 2, I got the Alien franchise.
Nice.
Yeah,
That one didn't even dawn on me.
dude, it's so good. We got 79, 86, 92, 97, and then the prequels were 2012 and 2017. I put on here, I'm not including the Alien versus Predator movies because those are just hot shit. And it just spawned, multiple video games, novels, comics. It had a web series, and somebody even wrote a play about it.
Wow.
And my favorite, Aliens 2.
Okay.
Or Aliens, the Deuce.
The Deuce.
Yeah, that's what I shouldn't have said that. That sounds stupid. It's Aliens.
No, it'll forever be Aliens. The Deuce.
I don't know why I said that. Aliens is my favorite.
All right. So you took my you mentioned my second one, Halloween. Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Freddy Krueger, dog.
Yep. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Freddy Krueger, dog. That's
Don't fall asleep.
That's Jason Voorhees, dog. Freddy Krueger is Nightmare.
Oh,
on Elm
Nightmare on
Street.
Elm Street.
Close enough. Well, I had
Damn
that
it.
too, and they made 12 of them, dude, and they really busted them out. 80, 81, 82, 84, 85, 86, 88, 89, and then, a couple more after that. They combined for 468 million, which was the highest until the latest Halloween came out. And I found out that they had a TV series from 87 to 1990.
Wow.
So during the 80s, they just tried everything to bleed that franchise dry.
Okay, you know, if you got a cash cow, just milk it. Milk it
They still are. I'm sure they'll make a new one soon.
Yeah, and I see T-shirts being made now that says Camp Crystal Lake or whatever on it. So I mean, they're still making money.
All these have like their own merchandise line.
Yeah. Let's see. That was on your list. Why don't you go ahead and give your last one?
My last one is the I just put the Dead
Like
franchise.
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, like Night of the Dead, and then Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead. I've seen Dire of the Dead, but then the last one was Survival of the Dead in 2009. That one I didn't see and probably won't.
Is that the one with? Isn't there one with like Dave Bautista or?
He was in that one with that newest one on Netflix that Zack Snyder made.
Yep.
It's
Yep,
like a
that's what I'm thinking.
Heist in Vegas.
Yep.
So I just put how they were all George A. Romero. He wrote and directed them all. Also have that the remake from 1990 was one of my favorites. That was probably like the scariest movie to me growing up. The 1990 remake. Something about it, I don't know. I watched that movie with Cody Wilson when I was too young, and just like forever scared me.
In that vein, what was the one? 28 Days and 28 Weeks.
28 Days Later and 28 Weeks.
That one was scary. My last one is the Purge series.
Yep.
You know, maybe it'd be good to have a night where we could just take some aggression out.
This is coming from the guy that wished we had a plague, like a virus outbreak a couple years ago.
Okay.
And now he wants to purge.
Some things shouldn't be said on air that are mentioned off air, okay? Nobody needs to know that. Nobody needs to know what's swirling around up here. But yeah, the Purge, they're decent, you know, they're decent enough.
I like those movies. That was on my honorable mention. So
All right, I've got an honorable mention off the top of the dome too. So
go for it.
it's not a movie series or a movie franchise, but it is a TV series, The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Walking Dead. I think they're on.
I think they're going to make movies, aren't they?
Yeah,
You
they're
mentioned
supposed to
that?
make
Like a
three.
like a
They're supposed to make
trilogy?
3 about Rick Grimes because he got killed off, quote
Spoiler
unquote,
alert, bro.
quote unquote, killed off the show. They're on their final season. I've got to catch up. I haven't seen since season 10. They're on season 11, but yeah, I've got all the comic books, all the compendiums, so I'm a big Walking Dead fan. I know a lot of people, and it was really hard. The series took a dive in like season 6, like second half of season 6 to probably 9.
Damn, that's a long dive.
That's when the character Negan came in, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and
Was he the problem, or was it
he
like
wasn't
the
the problem.
writing?
The writing was the problem. How they wrote Negan was a problem because
And when you have the comic books to go by, you know, you think you just stick to.
they've got a
stick to
Bible
it.
in front of them,
Yeah.
and the writing was horrendous. The showrunner was horrendous.
That sucks.
So, but yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's awesome, but like Negan in the comics was great.
Didn't he have like a tiger in the comics, or is that in the movie too, or the show?
It's in the show.
Oh, it is?
King Ezekiel had a tiger.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there is a tiger in the world, and yeah, it does show up in the show.
Nice.
Yeah, Shiva.
I really have to get caught up on that.
Yeah, so you've got to sludge through like 6.5 to probably 9, the beginning of 9. So 2.5 seasons, but maybe it plays differently when you're binging it, and you don't have to wait a week, and you have a week
Just
to
stew
think
over it, yeah.
about how bad that episode was, and maybe when you're watching it all in, you know, concurrently, maybe it's better. But yeah, it was hard to defend that show for a while, but they turned things around in 9, and 10 was really good, and so I'm expecting big things from 11. So that was my honorable mention.
Well, I'm just going to give this last nugget because I wrote a lot of stuff down for this, and I feel like a nerd. But the Purge that we mentioned, this was just impressive. The collective gross between all those movies is $450 million, and the combined production budget was only $53 million. So they make all kinds of. That's why they're going to keep cranking them out.
Yeah.
They can make them for probably 20, and then they each make over 100. So
Kind of like the Fast and Furious franchise.
those things cost a lot.
I'm
of money
about
make.
to say, but their budget is probably
Their budget's a lot, but then it makes
makes a lot.
hundreds of millions more. Yeah. So when you have just something like that, and I also have the numbers for Scream if you want to know.
Yep.
$608 million at the box office versus a combined $118 million budget. So I just wrote a lot of stuff down before you came over, and I want to get that
That's
out.
a good ROI right there. Take it.
What does that mean?
Return on investment.
Oh, yes, it is.
Return
Especially
on
the
investment.
Purge.
Yep.
Those are great margins. I learned
The
that
margins are
from Shark
good.
Tank.
Margins are good.
Act like I know what I'm talking about.
All right. You got any more? You want to move on to?
That was it.
Okay. So let's get on to our second half of this Halloween edition of Mount Rushmore. The things that just absolutely terrify you. My first one, and I'll go first. Bridges that, like, anytime I'm going under a bridge, I think, like, that's a split second that it's going to fall.
I do that too, man.
That it's going to fall in on me, or they're going to collapse when I'm going over.
Especially when sometimes there'll be a train just stopped
Yeah.
on that, especially if you're going like towards the highway to the
On Business 287?
Yeah, past the old bowling alley.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that's always fucking just stopped there,
Yep.
and I'll just like I'll get some space in between me and the car so I can just gun it. Yeah, just like hit the gas
Yeah.
and cut through it.
Yeah, so-
that's a good one.
Or bridges, you know, especially like over lakes and stuff, like just collapsing and me just falling into the
I remember
water.
when that happened in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That bridge collapsed.
It was,
and
it was
killed
on
a few
it was
dozen
on
people.
35, because 35 runs from Minnesota down to here.
Damn.
So what's your first one?
Airplanes.
Yeah,
Fucking
that's
airplanes.
well known.
Yeah. I just put on here, where is Malaysian Flight 370? Does anybody know?
We should cover that.
Yeah, we should.
cover that, dude.
We should get the Crime Stoppers 40 or whatever to solve that fucking mystery.
Crime Busters
Crime
4000.
Busters, whatever their name is. Because that thing disappeared over the ocean and no one knows where it is.
Yep.
I just don't want to get on an airplane, man. People are like, you know, my brother-in-law and stuff wants me to go somewhere, and I'm like, we can drive there, take the scenic route.
They used to scare me, and then I took a flight to Europe, and that cured it. I mean, when you're stuck on a plane
See, I couldn't go over the water.
yeah, when you're
That's
stuck
the
on a
worst
plane for 12 hours, I mean, you just got to get over it.
Have a panic attack at 10,000
Actually,
feet.
it was okay because I was reading a book on 9/11.
That's ironic.
yeah, I got some looks.
You got the one Muslim guy giving you a thumbs up.
Yeah, brother.
He's like recruitment video.
But no, it's not bad. We went to Vegas a couple years back, and we just got loaded in the.
That's what everyone says. I was like, then I'll be the belligerent drunk guy, like telling you everything's that we're gonna crash.
You'll end up on the news putting a fucking flight attendant in a headlock. It wasn't
And
bad.
she's like the sweetest old
Yeah.
lady, and it's her last flight before she
Yeah.
retires.
No,
Yeah, that'd be
and
my
we kept
luck.
drinking on the plane. It wasn't bad. And got in Vegas. It was toasty. So it was good. All
I
good.
don't know. Maybe one day, but now that I got kids,
It wasn't bad. All right, my next one, and you kind of alluded to it in the last Mount
Airplanes.
Rushmore.
Oh.
Any like disease, epidemic, pandemic.
Yeah.
Because like the most terrifying movie I've ever seen is Contagion. You know, where you've kind of lived through it a little bit.
Kind of.
Not to that extreme.
yeah, not with the survival rate would have been much lower in your scenario.
Yeah, but I mean, what are you gonna do if an incurable disease
Everything just shuts down.
starts taking over? You know, I've already listened to an interview where they said we're losing the war, like on antibiotics. Like the antibiotics that we're making is
Like
like
humans are losing
yeah,
individually. Like,
yes,
oh,
like
that's not good.
the antibiotics they're making can't keep up with the diseases that keep popping up.
That's why I got to drink those emergency pouches.
Yeah, just drink emergency.
Hey,
You'll be
buddy,
good.
I got
And take
that.
your-
I got like orange citrus flavor.
and
It's
take
not
your
bad.
Flintstone vitamins.
Exactly. That's all I can do.
But yeah, any kind of just worldwide disease, epidemic, pandemic type situation.
I'll hop on that because that was actually one of mine. I put the collapse of like the economy / democracy, where society just collapses on itself. And I've heard this thing. It's called like 9 missed meals away from anarchy. Have you heard that theory?
Mm-mm.
That like society as a whole is basically just 9 missed meals away from collapsing. Meaning, you know, like 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and if everybody misses those, like, you know, like food supplies stop, and after 3 days, like everyone's just gonna like, it would basically end everything because everyone would start like being more reclusive or like shutting down, and no one's gonna trust anybody because once food is scarce, everything becomes scarce and everyone becomes like hostile. So
Yeah,
it's just like
I
if you
can see it.
if you took away someone's food for 3 days, and like how society would react to that would just be
Well, not only
anarchy.
would they be untrusting, reclusive, people get desperate,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know,
And then they
neighbors
become
breaking into houses and, you know,
ruthless.
starting to loot your neighbor, and then, you know, neighbor's got a gun, he shoots you, or
You know,
it's just what would happen if everything just broke down like that.
And they kind of cover it in Walking Dead. I mean, after a while, they learn how to deal with zombies, but then people become
people.
like the biggest threat, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's just, and there's a good podcast for you. You probably, and I think you may have listened to it. I know I referred it to you, but it's called "It Could Happen Here."
Oh, I've listened to that whole one. Yeah.
So he had a series where he breaks down the fall of the U.S., Civil War, all that, and then if you get on his feed recently, he put out like a 30-part fictional
after
novel.
the revolution.
Yeah,
I started that. Yeah.
yeah. So
I remember it actually gave me such bad anxiety. I couldn't listen to it.
And it's set here in Dallas because the dude he's from here, and the fictional story takes place in Dallas. He mentions Dallas, Plano, all the surrounding areas, but
I seriously
that covers it.
A bad anxiety attack that day when I was listening to it because it just started getting too real.
Yeah. So
that's a really good.
That's
one
a good one.
That's something that would literally affect everyone. And
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. It'd almost be like every man for himself or every family for himself at that point. You know, it'd be like you really can't trust anyone. I'd have to kill Matt, unfortunately. Next one for me, I put the vast open ocean, just being lost out at sea. And I know these are things that really are going to happen, but if I'm like somehow on an airplane and it goes down and I'm stuck in the ocean and you're just like floating or just like getting lost out at sea or getting pulled out at sea. And
so,
just
no planes.
Nope.
No cruises.
I'll take a cruise. I'd rather take a cruise than a speedboat out into the middle of the ocean. Cruise ship would have what are they called?
Dinghies.
Is that what they're called?
No, I don't know.
I was like, that
Lifeboat.
sounds right. The lifeboat, yeah, a lifeboat. And there'd be enough people, I think I would be okay. Cruise ships would be okay. I've talked to Claire about that. We can take a cruise ship. We're not going to fly down to the cruise ship. We'll have to drive. But I think it's like if you were
just
just...
go to Galveston, you'd love it, dude.
I think we are
awesome.
going next summer. We're going back. But it's like, I don't know, if we were on you and a couple of buds and y'all just went out to the middle of the ocean and something happened and the motor blew up and y'all were running out of food and then I don't know, just drifting out in the ocean. It's like hopelessness, There's a 1 in a million chance someone's going to find you or that, someone's going to cross you on another boat. And it's just that helplessness and that vast ocean.
So you couldn't run cocaine in the 80s from Cuba to Miami?
I mean, every man's got his price.
All right. And
if I were going to run cocaine, hypothetically, I would do it across the ocean rather than flying. Yes.
True.
I'd be all about that Miami life.
Yeah. Okay. This is probably a really sad reality of our society, but mine's a mass shooter situation.
Ah, fuck.
Especially
that could be at a grocery store.
Yeah.
Or something.
So I'm always positioning myself. I don't know why, but I've always got to have my back to the wall, like when we're in a restaurant or.
That's why it takes you forever to shop. You're just
I'm just
with your bag
across the meat case.
You're making Landry go around the corners first.
Yeah, just using him as a shield. But no, I've got to have where I can see the door, or I want to know where the exits are. I'm probably overreacting, but I don't know. I've always got to do that.
Not really, not now.
I got to know, okay, what if something happens? I know I got a door here or a window here or whatever. And tonight we're at Target, and all the lights went out.
Really?
Dude, for 5 seconds, but everything went dark. And
people lose their shit?
Dude, yeah.
I could imagine. Even 5 seconds of darkness, people would act a fool.
Landry, he does not like the dark. He was not about it.
And especially when he thinks he's just right next to you.
And he was kind of, not away from me, but he was more than an arm's length, so I kind of didn't know where he was for half a second. We were watching our friend's 3-month-old, so I had him in a stroller. So I had, I don't know, in an instant, so many thoughts ran through my head. And we were at the back of the store. I'm like, anyway, yeah. So mass shooter situation is probably, it's up there.
It's a sad but true, reality.
Yeah. Did you have one more?
I had 2 more.
Okay.
Hippos. Hippos are fucking terrifying, dude. Couple facts. They are the world's largest land mammal killer, second only to us.
Yeah.
They kill about 500 people per year.
Yeah, they'll make you take a dirt nap real quick, huh?
Yeah, dude, they can crush you with their jaws.
They're
badass.
Yeah.
Exactly. Claire always makes fun of me when I said I'm never going to get fucked around by a hippo. I'll tell you that.
That's an irrational fear for sure.
It's an irrational fear, but it's plausible. They kill twice as many people as lions. And on land, they can run up to 30 miles per hour. So if you got a hippo coming at you, you're fucked.
So they're like the D lineman or O lineman that runs like a 4.6, 4.5 40.
They would run like a 3.2.
No, I'm saying that's the equivalent.
That's
human
equivalent,
equivalent.
yeah, of like just being ridiculously big, but still like ridiculously fast
Yeah.
and powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, they can outrun Usain Bolt. And they can swim 5 miles an hour in the water, so you can't get away from them. If a hippo's coming at you, it's over.
Who would win in a race, Michael Phelps or a hippo?
Michael Phelps.
Swimming. Okay. So Michael Phelps is cool in the water. We're not.
Only Michael Phelps is good in the water. I'm going to jump on his back and sink his ass to the bottom and sacrifice Michael Phelps if I have to. But I've always been
Rest in
terrified
peace.
of hippos. Oh, Michael Phelps?
In that
In that
situation.
scenario? Hell yeah, in that situation. In that situation, RIP to my grandma, because she's going down too.
She's living good life.
she's the first one down. Are you kidding me? All right, the last one. This is actually actually makes sense for where we live, and that's tornadoes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I said we had to live with them all our lives, and I still get nervous and scared when I hear those sirens going on.
Isn't it crazy? Like anytime we got weather, there's two types of people: people who shelter, and then people who go out on the front porch and just watch it and wait.
We sit and watch the news,
The weather, yeah.
the weather, yeah, and then when it gets bad, like then we know what to do. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember when we were little, living in Lancaster.
Were y'all there when?
Yeah, the one that destroyed like downtown that they
Yeah.
never really fixed, and it came right through our neighborhood. And I remember my parents making us go into the bathroom, and then my dad just like throwing the mattresses on us and all the pillows, and we just like had to lay in the tub with everything on top of us, and it did a little damage to our house. But like the next street over got pretty fucked up. And
But say what's crazy is like it can go down one street and like it seems like it'll skip houses. Like two will be destroyed, and the house next to it is fine, and then
yeah,
that one next to it's destroyed, and then the two next to it are fine.
That's part of the scariest part is it's so unpredictable. Like you don't know what to do in that situation. Like if you're on the highway and you see it coming, you could drive towards it and it could just change direction, or you could go one way and it follows you. Or I mean, you can't predict it.
So Landry's super scared of storms. He's at that age where it freaks him out. And the other night, me and Lauren were in the room and we were letting him watch some TV while we were like putting sheets on the bed or getting ready for bed or something. And I walk in, and he's watching tornado videos on YouTube. And he's like glued to it.
He's giving himself like anxiety right now.
So I started sitting down with him, and it was like the 5 biggest, most destructive tornadoes in U.S. history. And like number one was like 2.5 miles wide.
Fuck.
It had winds of like in the vortex of like 302 miles an hour. It went on for like 52 miles. The thing was insane. They had video of it, like storm chasers. You couldn't even see a funnel. It was just like one big, just
looked like a giant unit of a cloud.
Massive something with dirt and everything swirling around.
That's what I'm saying, and that's just a straight destructive path. So, like, good mass shooting, that was a good one. Tornadoes, I feel like a good one because that's just something we got to, unfortunately deal with.
And my last one is something we kind of have to deal with, and that's snakes.
Fuck snakes.
I do not fuck with snakes. I don't care. They say it's a good snake. Cool. Nope. It's getting its head lopped off.
I'm telling you, if I see one on the street, I'll go out of my way to run over that thing. I will, dude, because I get them quite a bit on my route in the middle of the country, and I'll like swerve, feel that thud, and just keep driving. I'm with you, dude.
So satisfied when you do it.
And then you see them just wiggling some more, and it's like, hopefully that's like their death rattle. Yeah, fuck snakes. I'm with you on that one.
Have you seen like the videos out of Australia where they're like driving down the highway and there's a snake coming up out of their hood?
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh, they like this. They like the heat of the
warm,
engine.
yeah.
I've seen videos of that.
Yeah, and they'll be driving down the highway.
Of course, they're in Australia, and they're probably the size of like Andre the Giant's thigh
Well,
coming
the thing
out.
about Australia is like everything there is out to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Like
even the kangaroos that look so nice and friendly, they're mean as hell.
no, they'll beat the shit out of
They
you.
will. They'll straight up box you, knock you out.
Dingoes are eating babies over there.
Hey, you don't joke about that, man. I heard something on Spotify about that, and it was a true case.
Yeah, no,
Dingo
it's
really
real.
ate that lady's baby.
Mm-hmm.
They gave her so much shit for years. Well, my last one kind of just feels more of a complaint. I'm not really scared of them. I just really fucking hate them. That's grasshoppers.
Oh yeah,
I've never liked grasshoppers, and
they're freaky little things.
Dude, they're just so creepy. They don't look like they're from this world. And then I have like 2 specific spots on my route. Like it's like a dirt road I have to go down, and I swear they just like mass breed out there. So when I go down, I have to roll up all my windows, and then they're just jumping at my. It's just like constant thuds on my windshield, and I'm just using my wipers and
Just swatting.
I can
off.
tell like the trail of dead that don't get out of the way. Like I can see them on the ground, and then the rest are just like kamikaze, like straight to my windshield and bouncing off. And I mean, sometimes I have my hand out, and they'll just jump, and then when they hit you going fast, it like scares you. And
Yeah.
I just fucking hate grasshoppers.
Yeah,
They don't really
no,
scare
they're
me. I
creepy
just
little
fucking
buggers, man.
hate grasshoppers. Maybe it was from James and the Giant Peach. I remember watching that movie, and there was a giant grasshopper on that. And then my
Bug's
grandparents
Life.
grew in the country. Bug's Life. Yeah, they were assholes in that movie.
Yep.
God, they were dickheads. I just don't like grasshoppers.
You're right.
man.
Down with the grasshoppers.
Fuck
bro.
grasshoppers, dude. You know what? That's what snakes are good for. They eat the grasshoppers, and then we kill the
It's
snakes.
true.
That's the cycle of life. That's how it
Yep.
goes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I come in with my mass shooting. Fuck off, y'all.
Coming in with 2 Mac 10s. All right. So
That's my
that was
kind of mass shooting.
that was our Mount Rushmores for this Halloween edition of the podcast. So let's get into Pick Your Poison. I wish we had a Halloween Pick Your Poison.
Well, if you say it in a spooky voice, it at least sounds Halloween themed.
Okay, I got one. Who'd you rather have tracking you down? Michael Myers, Ghostface, or Jason? Or add in anyone I'm not throwing in there.
Who would I rather have? So who would I have the best chance against?
Who would you rather have
Probably-
stalking you?
Ghostface. Because Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees are like fucking supernatural, dude. Like, those guys are hard to kill. I can kill, Billy? Or Stu?
Stu.
Fuck that guy. I can kill a Stu. I can kill that guy easy. I'll
Okay.
just get a gun. You know, this is America. So yeah, Ghostface, easy.
Ghostface.
Done.
Okay.
And then the
All right.
second one, wasn't it, or the third one, it was like Stu's mom. Yeah, fuck that bitch. I'll kill her too.
Was it? It was Billy's mom.
Billy's mom.
Yeah, it was Billy's mom. Skeet Ulrich, or his mom. All right, I'm gonna get. That was our Halloween edition.
That was just top of Matt's head question.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Would you rather wake up as a new random person every year and have full control of them for the whole year, or once a week spend a day inside of a stranger without having any control of them?
That's a weird question.
I'd rather spend a day inside of a stranger without just being able to observe what's going on.
Yeah, because what if you
inside
don't
of
like
them.
the person? You're stuck for a whole year.
Yeah,
You know, that could
Uh-huh.
suck.
yeah.
What if you're like I don't want to say anything offensive. Never mind. I was gonna say something like, I don't know.
I know where you're going. Don't go
Yeah.
there.
I think I'm with you. Give me a new person every
Yeah,
week.
because
You don't have a control, so you're just going along with the ride.
you're along for the ride.
Yeah,
You're just there for a good
you can
time.
learn from
Hopefully,
their mistakes, and
hmm
maybe you get like
you could be inside of a bigot. You could be inside of I don't know, anybody.
yeah. I don't know. That was a weird one. Let's
was
get
a
one
weird
more
one.
in
One more.
because we don't know what to say. All right, I'm gonna read this one. Would you rather get one free round trip international plane ticket
Okay.
every
I
year?
know what you're doing.
What?
Not the plane ticket.
Oh, yeah, true. Well, no. Or it says, or be able to fly domestic anytime for free. So I'm kind of fucked. I guess I'll take the one free trip just to get it over with.
Give me the anytime unlimited domestic, because there's so many parts of this country I've never seen.
You're going to stick to the country? Oh, yeah, it says domestic. Man,
Domestic.
mine's international, dude. Oh, yeah. We're going somewhere nice. We're going to, like, Pakistan. I brain farted.
And you came out with Pakistan?
I don't know why.
There's so many other P's. Peru,
Hey, there's a lot
Paris.
of history there. I'll go to Switzerland. I always said I want to go to Switzerland or Portugal. Those would be like my top two. Pakistan, that would be pretty cool. A lot of mountains,
Yeah.
a lot of goats,
Where they got Bin Laden.
a lot of snakes. We can go to Bin Laden's compound.
Okay, so that
I'll
was.
stick to it, man. Pakistan.
that
Shout
was,
out, shout out, Pakistan.
I don't know if we want to shout them out. All right, so that was Pick Your Poison, and it is time for the movie review. And as I mentioned, we reviewed the 1999 film Idle Hands. Fun fact, this movie was filmed in the same neighborhood as Halloween in 1978.
Oh shit, that
Yeah.
is cool.
That is cool. Thank you, Amazon Prime, for that, for the little fun facts they pop up
Yeah,
on the
thanks
screen.
for the internet for all the stuff we get.
All right, so you got any other little fun facts or box office or anything like that for me before I get started?
I put on here was a true Hastings classic rental. I probably rented that VHS like 15 times.
Yeah.
From Hastings.
Yeah.
15% Rotten Tomatoes, and I got the hand kill count right here. I got them at 14. 14 clean kills for the hand.
Prolific.
It's what I counted. I could be off by one or two, but that is pretty good numbers.
Prolific. Okay, so we open the movie with Anton's parents getting pranked in bed. They're settling down for bed, and they hear a noise coming from downstairs. And then the cat I wrote, the cat jumps up on the bed and scares the shit out of me.
Well, you gotta say what's on top of the bed or what's on top of the wall.
Oh, yeah.
So
And
it's
they
I'm under the bed.
yeah, they
That's
look
what
up.
initially scares them.
Yeah, they look up and written in kind of this glowing neon writing ink stuff is I'm under the bed. So that was Frank Willard, by the way, the dad.
Yeah.
Very young.
Didn't he die recently?
He might have. I don't know. I'm not good at keeping up with that.
Pretty sure he did.
Just in case, rest in peace.
Yeah, just in case.
So they hear a noise coming from downstairs. Of course, she sends the husband down, and then the cat jumps up on the bed, and that scared the shit out of me when the cat jumped up. So that was the first jump scare. So he goes downstairs to investigate, and she hears her husband scream. There's a scream that comes from downstairs, and I wrote, why didn't she call the police?
Immediately.
Boom. Right there. Scream inside the house after a noise. No,
The classic sign. Yeah, she's like trying to find Anton in the attic.
Yeah, she's
Like
pulling
calling
the
out
attic
for
door.
him.
Yeah, she goes down to investigate and she slips in blood. And then she decides that it's a good time to call the police.
Yeah, let me run upstairs, which is another classic mistake.
Mm-hmm. So she goes up to the bedroom and she attempts to call 911, and then the phone gets. And she gets dragged under the bed and splattered to death. I don't know how Little Hand does that, but I guess she just popped her head like a zit. So that's the first death. And then next we get our first look at Anton, played by
Devin Sawa.
Heartthrob.
Oh my God, Devin.
What a snack. And he's totally oblivious to the fact that his there's just blood in the house and his parents are nowhere to be found.
He's like the most typical, like what Hollywood perceived as like a 90s stoner slacker.
Yep.
Like living in the attic, which is a sweet setup. You know, if you're like between the ages of like 18 and 21, nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
I think he had every intention of riding that out until his 40s, until they died,
For
and
sure.
then inheriting the house.
Yep. So yeah, he's oblivious to. He comes down, wakes up, comes down, still in his boxers, oblivious to everything. But I did write, he does have one of the most clever smoking devices ever. It's disguised as an inhaler, a string around his neck.
Except it would have to reek though.
Oh, dude, you would smell like
you would smell it
resin.
from like across the room,
dude. Yeah, but
anyway, it was clever, but yeah.
So
I like how he's like the way he finds out too, or not doesn't find out, but find out like something's up is he's just trying to make like cereal at noon.
It's like, Mom, we're out of milk.
And then the dog's looking at him all sad. He goes, Mom, we're out of dog food. He's like, fuck.
So then he goes back to sit down after he can't feed the dog or get any cereal, and he realizes that he's out of bud. He's out of marijuana. Now he's like, okay, now it's too much. I got to do something.
I got to be proactive today.
So he calls his dealer, and he's like, hey, man, can you run me some stuff by? Run me a dime bag by? The good old days.
Who gets a dime bag?
The good old days, we can get a dime bag.
I remember when a dime bag used to cost a dime. You know what I'm saying?
And the dealer tells him to stop being lazy. And then we find out that his dealer literally lives across the street. He said, what the fuck?
And instead of being in the attic, he lives in the basement.
He's like, what the fuck you think this is, Domino's? He's like, stop being lazy. So he gets up, walks across the street, and come to find out that his dealer is Fulton from the Mighty Ducks.
That's who it was.
Yeah, it was Fulton from the Mighty Ducks. So his hockey career fizzled out.
Seth Green.
Wearing
a porn star shirt.
Mick.
Nick and what was his name? Nub?
P-Nub.
P-Nub.
Or Penub. They say Penub, but I like P-Nub better.
That makes more sense.
So Anton's telling his friends that he hadn't seen his parents in a couple of days, and that's when he learns that there's a serial killer.
Yeah, that's like if there was a serial killer in Waxahachie and you're just totally oblivious to it.
You just have no idea.
There's like all these, so they're telling about all the victims.
What are you looking at?
I thought I saw something out there.
Don't fucking do that.
You got your back to the door.
Not on this night. No. Stop. Don't look over there unless there's something at that door.
Okay,
It scares the shit out of me. So here's where we get our first scene with a young Jessica Alba. She lives across the street from Anton, and he's obsessed with her.
Wouldn't you be if that was the neighbor?
Yeah.
I was going to say,
yeah.
He's got good reason to be.
Yeah. His buddies convinced him to return a book that she had dropped in the street 'cause she comes driving by on a motorcycle.
Just total badass.
Total babe. And she drops a book in the street, and he notices it, and his buddies are like, hey, it's a perfect opportunity. Return the book. Talk to her, bro.
Easier said than done, though.
Yeah, because he returns it to her in the most awkward way you could possibly return a book. He's just like, rings the doorbell, falls over the railing, falls in the bushes. She opens the door, and his first words is like, "I'm sorry about your bush."
And then didn't he just shove the book in her face?
Yeah. He just kind of he runs away. And then next we go to Beaver, Utah, where we meet a very foxy Vivica A. Fox.
Bro, I just put on here, boys growing up in the 90s all had a crush on Vivica A. Fox.
She plays Debbie, who is tracking the murders.
Yeah, she comes from, like, what did she say, like a long line of like hunters that are like sworn to, like, you know, break the curse. Like, it was really serious. Yeah. She's really into this character.
So the next scene we get is, I guess Anton decided he needed to go get dog food and milk on his own, so he's walking home, I guess, wherever he lives.
It looks spooky as fuck.
You can just take the grocery cart with you.
People do that all the time. People are assholes.
You can take
but there's like fog machines around every corner.
Yeah,
too.
he's walking down an alley and there's fog everywhere. And
where it's like a New York from steam from the subway system. Yeah. Something ridiculous.
And then he gets harassed by two cops who he went to school with.
Who was that weird looking cop? The one that looks like...
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's that guy.
That guy that you can never...
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I was like, I'm trying to think. I remember, like, in movies, he probably, like, dies gruesomely just because he just looks like a little
he's a bit guy. He plays a bit part.
Maybe he was one of the McPoyles from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
He looks like that guy.
He looks like
always
McPoyle.
Mistaken for one of those guys, but he's not.
Oh, he's not? Damn.
I heard an interview with him, and somebody brought that up.
He gets confused with McPoyles. Yeah. He definitely looks like one.
So, yeah, he gets harassed by two cops who he went to high school with, and they're giving him shit, and they're like, "How come you never invited us to get high behind the gym?" He's like, "You guys are fucking nerds." So
fair enough.
They rip him up, pin him against a wall, and
they write him the ticket, which is such a cool thing.
They find an empty bag, empty weed.
He almost gets busted for the inhaler too, but
he's like, "What is this?" He's like, "It's an." The other cop's like, "It's an inhaler, you dumbass." But yeah, they find an empty baggie on him, and Anton mentions like, "Hey man, you can't write me a ticket for an empty bag." And so they throw it on the ground and cite him for littering. The maximum fine they mentioned.
$200.
Anton is trying to smoke oregano and nutmeg in the next scene because Mick and P-Nub said, "Hey, I'm out," which was a dick move. Let me go back. That was a total lie. Let me go back.
That was a lie.
So Anton goes over to P-Nub's house because he's his dealer, and he says he's holding. And then when he gets there, P-Nub's like, "I'm holding my dick. I don't have anything." And then as soon as Anton leaves to go talk to old girl, he pulls the sack out.
The sack of weed.
Sack of weed, not his nut sack.
Unexpected twist.
So yeah, and then he's like,
he's just desperate to smoke.
And so I think Seth Green's character Mick says, "Hey, why don't you smoke oregano and nutmeg? I heard it gets you high or something." So in the next scene, or in the couple scenes later, that's what he's doing. He rolls it up in the ticket, which that's always like a movie trope where they smoke, they roll cigarettes or something in like notebook paper or just regular paper, and that doesn't work.
No, I've never tried it, but I wouldn't.
It doesn't work.
Not when papers are so cheap. Anyways.
No. So he does smoke the oregano and the nutmeg, and he immediately regrets it. He's in the sink and he's pouring dish soap in his mouth.
I see what you're doing there. Yeah, he's pouring dish soap, all right. More like dick soap.
And then, I don't know if he's high or what, but we get a scene of him making the nastiest sandwich.
Yeah, even if there wasn't blood on that knife, it's just like mayonnaise and bologna.
Going back to being oblivious, the knife he's using to spread mayonnaise is covered in blood.
His parents' blood? Because he's watching like a Rob Zombie video, and there's like some large-breasted woman dancing.
They're well endowed.
Yeah, they got big dicks. Why would you say well endowed?
I don't know, dude. It's been a while. I'm rusty, man. As if you couldn't tell by that intro, it did not go well.
All right, so he's making a nasty-ass sandwich, and that's when he notices the blood.
Yeah, he notices the blood.
And he freaks out and calls his buddies over.
And then his cat brings out a detached eyeball.
Yep.
And I wrote down, "You're not calling the cops." Why?
Cops are assholes.
So he finds his parents were in the house the entire time. They were disguised as the Halloween decorations.
That's a good spot to hide a body, though. At least momentarily.
Yeah, so in the beginning of the movie, it shows Anton's house and his parents had decorated, gone all out for Halloween. And in the window, they did the painting. I
Like
forget
American Gothic.
the American Gothic with the pitchfork and the
like
man and the wife. And so they've got that set up with pumpkin heads. And
That's
then,
so cool. I didn't know that was filmed where Halloween was, man.
Yeah.
If I had known that when I started, I would have appreciated it even more.
Yeah. So that's where his parents were. They were the Halloween decorations. And then Anton puts together that his shirt was in his dad's hands.
Well, he has his buddies come over.
Oh yeah, his buddies come over.
Two buddies over.
His
Yeah,
buddies
he's
come over
freaking
to
out.
investigate, or just kind of help him. And then he kind of puts together that his dad had a piece of his shirt in his hand, and then there was 2 other murders at a fast food place.
Two twin brothers.
2 twin brothers, and their ears were in a sack from a paper bag from that restaurant, and then the glowing paint used to write on the ceiling all connects back to him. So he's got the little glowing paint on his hands. His shirt was in his dad's hand, and then the ears from the 2 twins at the burger place were all at his house. So he's starting to put the pieces together. So they're like, "Hey, dude, we got to call the cops." And Mick was calling the cops, and Anton rips the phone out of the wall and then proceeds to stab him in the head with a broken beer bottle. Yeah, and this is kind of the first part of the movie where we see the hand become a character.
It takes control of him. Yeah.
Yeah. So the hand is announced himself, and he got me looking over there.
Bro, I got a lazy eye. Get over it.
Jeez. So this is the first time that we kind of see the hand take over. And then he's going after P-Nub.
He was gonna let him go. He cornered him in the cellar.
Yeah, in the basement.
He's like, just I'll let you go, but I can't hold on much longer.
Yeah, he's like, so just please go.
He's just running up the stairs, and the hand just reaches over and
grabs a saw blade.
Yeah,
and frisbees it,
decapitates him,
cuts his head off.
Down. So that's when you know, all right, yeah, he has no control. He just killed his 2 best buds. He killed his family. So you got to wonder who's next.
And then there's a funny scene of Anton and the hand fighting over the remote. The hand wants to watch
hand videos, basically.
Hand videos. And then Anton wants to watch cartoons. And then he absolutely shit whips his cat Bones out of the window. He grabs him by the tail and kind of twirls him, and then just
like Petey Pablo style.
It's a piss missile outside.
Yeah, I just put best part so far is when he spins and yeets the cat 50 yards. He just whips that fucking thing across the whole neighborhood.
Out the window, into the neighbor's yard. And so Anton immediately, he goes after his cat. He goes across the street, and the hand takes over and forces him to ring Molly's doorbell. And Molly is Jessica Alba's character. She answers and tells him that they should just skip all this shy sneaking around stuff, and then invites him inside.
Oh yeah, she likes the bad boy.
Yeah, because he's telling her, I shouldn't be here. I really got to go.
And he's covered in blood.
He's covered in blood. He looks like shit. And I wrote, he looks like a complete psychopath in her room. Yeah. He's covered in blood. He stinks.
Dude, she is so into it too. She looks so good in that scene, and she cannot get enough of deadly Devin Saulball.
No, and he looks like he would stink without the blood because he just doesn't shower. So yeah, they're in her room, and I wrote, not gonna lie, the short hair is not my favorite on Jessica Alba. She's still hot. Don't get me wrong. And then he completely sexually assaults Molly, but she's into it.
Oh, when he grabs the ass,
dude, a whole handful. I don't know if it's ass. If he went for the bowling ball grip.
Yeah, that was a bowling ball grip, man.
Yeah.
I think that's even uncalled for, in prison. I don't think that's acceptable anywhere.
She's into it. And then I wrote, imagine how he smells.
You're all about his stench.
And he's fighting the hand the entire time. The hand is picking up stuff, trying to stab her, and he's fighting with it. And finally he takes the belt off her robe, the sash off her robe, and ties it to the bed, and she's into it. She
just thinks it's kinky.
She thinks it's kinky.
Yeah. Which I put on here. Dream woman right there.
Yeah. So then her parents come home, of course, and it's got to be the worst case of blue balls ever, right?
I know Stu had some pretty big blue balls from Scream 1.
He did.
At least he got a flash of the boobies, though.
Yeah, he did. So we go back to Anton's house, and the next scene he buries his parents and friends, and turns out Mick and P-Nub are zombies.
Well, I got to call bullshit on this because, as I said, I just recently had to bury Eli.
Yeah.
And digging through that, barren, dry earth and hitting nothing but roots and rocks. That guy dug 4 6 foot holes and didn't even break a sweat.
I don't think they were
said I
6
would've-
foot.
Okay, what were they, 3 feet?
I don't think the one guy was even 3 feet.
Well,
Mick
that's
wasn't.
true.
Nick was like just.
Anton is a fucking lazy kid. But still, just to dig enough to bury all 4 of those at least like at ground level, that guy'd be sweating bullets.
Yeah, no,
He didn't even break a sweat.
No.
So I was going to say, I just call bullshit because I just had to dig a hole for my cat, and it took me like 15 hard minutes, and then I finally was just like, fuck it, Eli, you're good. Like, sorry, brother. It's 3
Eli.
feet by 3 feet.
30 minutes ago, Eli, you were the best ever.
He still
Ben,
is. He's just chilling.
I can't make it 6, bud. You get 3.5.
The closer he is to the surface, the closer he is to my heart. Okay?
Oh my god. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, Mick and Peanut, they come back and
Yeah, they come back at the burial service.
at the burial service
like he's saying some words, and all of a sudden they just like zombie their way up.
because they can hear his voice. He's
And
like,
that was
"Hey."
never explained,
No.
right? That was just like, I think
Nope.
that was just like some goofy moment
Nope.
where they're like, okay, we're going to
Because you
have...
can hear him. He's like, "Hey, let me out. I can't breathe under here." And he's like, "Are you alive?" And then all of a sudden you see a hand like
They come
reach
up
up
like,
out of the
like,
dirt.
like cheesy zombie movies. They start rising from the dirt.
So eventually, they're fighting. He's going to kill him again. Anton gets knocked out and he wakes up in his bed the next morning. Goes downstairs thinking it was just a bad dream, and Mick and Peanut are there sitting in his living room.
Just chilling like a couple corpses.
Peanut's got his head in the chair, and there was a scene earlier when they were alive, and Mick was throwing cheese puffs into Peanut's mouth, and you could see that's what he was doing. He was throwing him chips, and
Still got their sense of humor. You got to
still,
respect
yeah,
that.
still got it. So yeah, they're sitting in his living room, and I wrote, "Bro seriously needs to shower." So they're like, he's like, "My hand's possessed. You know about the devil?" He's like, "No, I don't, but I know a guy who does." So we meet up with Randy.
Fucking Randy, dude.
Randy is
Cool
the guy that lives across the street. He's
always blasting Motley Crue.
Yep. He's driving a big, probably 1978 Ford truck, jacked up on probably 38 or 40-inch tires. And he's being a total sleazeball. They're having a little memorial at the Jungle Burger for the 2 employees there that got murdered.
Twins, yeah.
And he's being a total sleazeball with a high school chick.
You say sleazeball. I say opportunist.
But he's like, "Are you still in high school?" And she's like,
Okay,
"Yes."
yeah, he did say
He's like, "Yeah, I've been out about 3 years now."
okay, you're right. He's a sleazeball.
That's statutory rape.
Hey, bro. Maybe he's just wanting to make a friend.
Maybe.
I think we know Randy. Randy, you dirty dog.
Yeah, so, and then Anton shows up at Jungle Burger, and he's desperate for Randy's help with the devil. And Randy tells Anton that basically he needs to keep his hands busy. And he gives the quote, "Idle hands are the devil's playground." And Anton takes that literally. So he goes home and starts knitting. And then Peanut and Mick make some jokes that we can't make in 2021. They use some slurs that we can't use in 2021 that you could get away with in 99. And then he's got music blaring. He's just knitting away, and the 2 cops from earlier show
That
up.
hand's working overtime, too, on those knitting sticks. So it's working.
Yeah. So the 2 cops from earlier show up for a noise complaint at Anton's house, and then all hell breaks loose. Anton proceeds to stab one ear to ear. He skewers the dude with the knitting needle there.
Very Jason Voorhees like kind of murder.
Just brute strength through the ears, and then I wrote down he tased the dude, but I don't see how
He got his taser and he like shot him right in the face.
Yeah.
I guess he just kept the voltage going. But yeah, it wouldn't be enough to kill you. I think you'd have to like recharge it or reload it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That one was unrealistic, but the knitting needle through the ears was pretty sick.
Yeah, that was a good kill. So, and then Anton decides to cut off his hand, and he's like, "Hey, man, I can't get this thing exercised, or I can't, I can't get an exorcism on it, so we're going to cut it off." And he tries to use the bagel guillotine. That was the name of the product.
Thing. That was the
name of the product.
That seems like a useless product, but like something my mom would have had like in the 90s.
Yeah, like the salad spinners. Yeah.
Something like that she ordered off TV. Yeah.
Off QVC. And then he fails, go figure, with the bagel guillotine. And then he finds a cleaver, and he successfully lops off his hand. He gets Peanut his assistants. He gets him to bite his hand to hold it in place because the hand was moving all over the place, dodging the cleaver. And he gets Mick to bite it and hold it down long enough for him to cut it off. And then that's when Anton and we, as the audience, learn that the hand is still alive.
Yeah, he pretty much fucked up by doing that.
Yeah.
It's like unchaining it like a rabid pit bull.
Yeah, now
it's just
he's got this rogue hand.
Yep.
And it attacks him. It attacks him as Molly is standing outside Anton's door, ringing the doorbell.
Dude, she wants more of that stinky dick.
Dude, smelly wiener. That's one.
No, stop talking.
That's the wrong one. No.
It's not
that's the
that
right
one?
one. That's the right one.
Oh, it's too late now.
Smelly wiener.
That's the name of the episode. You heard it here first, Matt. It's all about them smelly wieners.
Damn it. Dude, this is terrible. Anton tells Molly to go to the dance because previously they had told him, or they had made plans to meet the next day and go to the dance and hopefully finish the what they had started the night before. Mick and Peanut, they left after he cut his hand off to go get some antiseptic and burritos. So they come back and they find Anton gone, and they want to use the microwave for the burritos, and that's they find the hand. Because Anton had thrown the hand in the microwave and cooks it until like it exploded.
You know, I can understand letting the demonic hand free, but after you see the aftermath, why wouldn't you just like take the time and oven those burritos?
Yeah,
they put the burritos in with all the blood and gore and just like made the burritos. And I guess that's like silly humor. But I was like, that's fucking disgusting, man. You put those things in the oven.
You definitely just throw them in the oven.
Because they were like, should we clean it first? Like, hell no, that's not our mess. I was like, okay, we at least got to put it in the oven then, guy.
If it was 2021, you just pop those bad boys in the air fryer, get them nice and crispy.
Get living that life.
Hell yeah, air fryer life.
On the gang, air fryer gang. We're a very exclusive club.
Yep. And then we get a funny scene of Peanut eating the burrito, and since his head is severed, Mick kind of skewers it on like a knife, and then puts the other end back on his neck.
You know,
so
Mick was a little bit of like an engineer. He was like solving some problems like throughout the movie.
Yeah, so he kind of reattaches his head crudely, and then Peanut is eating what it looks like a bean burrito, because he's eating the burrito, and right there at the neckline, yeah, like where it's reattached, it's leaking out like beans. So he gets some duct tape and helps his buddy out and fixes it so he can enjoy his burrito. True friend. In the next scene, we come back to Debbie, who's played by Vivica A. Fox, and she's at the bowling lane in search of the hand. And then of course Randy's there.
Randy's immediately got eyes for her.
Randy's this is where I would consider him an opportunist. She's a fine woman walking in a bowling alley.
Yeah, this alone. Is totally like this is okay right now.
She's not underage.
Yeah.
So they're having beers, and this is where Debbie goes into. It comes from a long line of whatever she said, spiritualistic.
Yeah, just like people who hunt
warriors.
Demonic.
Yeah, and she's looking for her hand, and Randy knows. He's like, hey, my buddy, this guy Anton, saying his hand was making him do stuff.
Real weird lately.
Yeah, and Randy knows where to find him, and so. Debbie and Randy are on the way to Anton's, and Anton, Mick, and Peanut head to. They're heading to the dance because the hand had written that she's mine. So the hand has indicated that he's going. The hand, I don't know if it's he or she.
Gender neutral.
It's free to pick whatever feels most natural.
You do you.
It is going to go after Molly, and so.
You gonna mention that kiss couple though in the car?
Yes.
That kill?
Yes. Or I might have you do it because I've got a little surprise for you. So Anton, Mick, and Peanut head to steal Randy's truck, and they back over Debbie in the process. Debbie is almost there, almost gets to Anton, and he backs right over, commits vehicular homicide in the process, so we think. And that is where my notes stop. I don't know if I fell asleep. I don't know if I just got caught up and stopped writing. But yeah, that's it. So can you carry us through?
Yeah, I got the guys steal Randy's truck, and they go to the dance to save Molly. They get to the dance, and you got that kiss couple making out in the car.
Yeah, she's like, I'm sweating off my makeup.
Yeah, so let me take my top off. Yeah, I can't believe you missed that part. That was a really nice part. Then the hand came in.
No, I saw that.
Oh, that's when you busted your nut and fell asleep. At that moment, you just
Thanks for-
nutted and closed your eyes.
Thanks for putting it back. Thanks for piecing it together for me there. I did.
Okay, well, that was a nice scene. Then he kills both of them. So now they're at the dance, and it's just weird because last movie we had Ace Ventura and we had a Cannibal Corpse playing a live show.
Yep.
And in this one we had the Offspring, and they were covering a Ramones song at the school dance. Then the next line I said the hand kills the pervy principal because he was like on the phone with like a hotline, you know, those sex hotlines.
Yep.
That were just such a ripoff. You know, I wasted so much money. And after it kills him, the hand goes to the pencil sharpener and starts sharpening its little fingers to like sharpen little edges. So it's starting to evolve, you know, it's becoming like this perfect killing machine. Let me see. Anton gets on stage and warns the party. They boo, and the singer gets scalped right at that moment. So Anton's trying to warn everybody, and the singer of the Offspring, like, you know, goes like, "Get out of here, kid!" Bumps him, and then the hand drops down and rips his fucking scalp off, and everyone knows it's going down for real. What does it say? The hand. Oh. Okay, so then the next scene, the hand's obviously going after Molly, and he like chases her into the auto shop, and it like straps her down to like an old car that they're working on and starts to lift her up to the ceiling, so it's going to crush her if they can't get there in time. And let's just say Anton's got to make the choice, and he's trying to pull the lever because the hand's got it stuck there, and then they find this bong called Mighty Joe Bong, and he takes a giant rip, and she's like, "Really? You're getting high with your friends?" But really, Anton's just thinking, outsmarting this thing, so he takes this giant rip of a bong, and then he opens up the hand and just like blows smoke straight into it, and you see the eyes of the hand like roll back. Or, because at this point now it's wearing like a little costume. I should have mentioned that. It gets kind of goofy at the end. And he basically gets the hand really stoned, and it lets go. Debbie throws the dagger at the hand as it attacks and kills it. It was actually kind of like a big letdown of the hand, like they joked about how it was just such a bummer and a letdown to see it just kind of went like poof. Next line I said, "Damn, Jessica Alba's ass," because that looked really good. She gets off the car lift. Anton's standing under it, and he gets crushed, but he skips to heaven so he can crush Molly's vagina on Earth. Yeah. Mick and Nub come back as his guardian angel. The end.
It was really good.
It was all right. Jessica Alba was fantastic.
I didn't know it was that gory. I thought it was like some goofy, just kind of.
No, it's like like I said, it's like 14 kills.
Yeah, it's a pretty gory movie.
I like how they get creative with the deaths too. You got to get creative.
They got creative.
And you know what? It's a step above Ernest Scared Stupid. So, what did we also do? Scream last year. We were supposed to do like 4 different movies. That's when we were more serious about it last year. So we're going to do 4 movies for 4 weeks, and now we're like, let's take a month break and come back and watch Idle Hands. So we'll have stepping up.
As if y'all weren't disappointed enough by the length of time in between episodes, we'll give you Idle Hands.
Yeah, dude, that was
just
a
to
pretty
up the
bad
disappointment
movie
even more.
We should say we were gonna do Dumb and Dumber, like the people voted. Thanks, Mom. But we're gonna postpone it because we might have our buddy Alex coming back on. And I believe he really wanted to review that with us.
Yes, so Alex is going to come down. We're going to record.
When's that going down, Matt?
I think Sunday.
Sunday, a week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow.
You promise?
No.
Okay. You heard it here first.
Because you said I promised last time, and I didn't follow through.
Yeah, last time you made a promise, Eli died.
So, yeah, Eli died. Apparently, I killed Eli, and I'm killing the podcast. But no, I think the plan is we need to get with Alex. I'm sure he's still up because we are coming to you probably the latest we've ever come to you. It's 11:30 on Saturday night before Halloween. But we can holler at Alex. I think the plan was it's a 12 noon game is get over here.
Just got an update on the World Series, dog. We got to talk about that. Fuck Astros. 1 game away.
Come over here, cook, hang out, drink, watch the game.
Yeah, best part is that's Claire's baby shower, so I don't have to be there.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
And then we'll record after the Cowboy game.
Okay.
So that was Idle Hands. Next episode will be Dumb and Dumber with Alex. That is the plan as of now.
And Matt will watch the whole movie.
I will watch the whole movie.
Good. Because I feel like when I have to carry it, I just straight read my notes.
That's fine. That's fine. We got through it. We got there.
We did. Thank God.
All right. So with that, let's wrap up with some sports. We got an update on the World Series.
Yep.
That just ended.
I wish I could have seen it too because it was 2-0. You know, when you got here,
Yeah.
and that was like in the bottom of the sixth.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it. Braves win 3-2. When I got here, it was like top or bottom. It was in sixth inning. The Astros were up 2-0, but then the Braves did have the bases loaded.
I don't think that was it though, because it says Swanson and Soler go back to back. So maybe they had a 2-run shot and then a solo shot.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was anything to do with the base. I think they actually got out of that jam. The bases.
Yeah.
loaded in
It
the
sounds like
sixth.
Houston got out of the jam, and
But you know what?
that puts
Fuck
Atlanta up
Houston.
3-1.
Yep.
I feel like, if Atlanta wins and they beat Houston, I feel like the Rangers won a little bit. Or
We all
I'll take
win
it.
if Houston
I'll take
loses. And Houston, Atlanta, I read somewhere that they were like, or didn't read it, I heard it, that I think of all the teams that made it, like they had, the worst record.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to see. It just proves like you just got to get hot at the right time. Because, the best team were the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Rays. Those were like the only three to win 100 games, and
Yep.
all of them didn't even make it past, second round? I know our predictions just went out the window immediately.
Oh, for sure.
That's another thing. We need to get our baseball insider Brady, get a call to him so we can.
Yeah, maybe after
preview.
Alex and after the World Series ends, we can get him on to recap the World Series and maybe look ahead to some Rangers stuff.
Yeah, look ahead to the season. Got the draft. I think we got another top 5 pick. Maybe
Because
top
I know there's some. I know they're playing fall ball out in Arizona, like the prospects are. So I know he's probably on top of that. So let's get into the Cowboys. We are at the end of the bye. We are 5-1.
Well, what happened right before that though?
Right before that,
Yeah, what happened to?
did we get rid of somebody?
We get rid of a second round bust and save $9 million.
I think you're talking about Jalen Smith.
There it is. Finally cut that dead weight that we've been begging for a year.
So we traded. He got released, got picked up by Green Bay. I think he played one game, maybe
did?
two, and then he was a healthy scratch for.
Which
for
tells
last-
you a lot.
for this.
A healthy scratch.
I think he's played some of his last NFL downs. Good
Well-
story, great story. Probably a good dude.
Well, he made, I've always heard he's a good guy, and he made a lot of money, so good for him. He made more money than I ever will in my life, and he'll still live a good life. It's not like he's going to go to the glue factory after this. And,
Like to work or like.
no, like they're going to kill him.
Oh, okay.
You know,
All
got to
right.
do with horses.
All right, I didn't know. I didn't know where you're going.
Damn, I forgot what I was going to say next.
I don't know, but yeah, Green Bay needed linebacker help. They took a flyer on him. He's not our problem anymore. We are sitting at the end of the bye week. We've got the Vikings Sunday night, 7:30 Halloween. It's going to be a cool atmosphere. There is a cloud over this game, and that cloud is Dak Prescott's calf.
It sucks that he injured that on the last play of the last game.
And this is as of 4 hours ago. This is from Blogging the Boys. It says Dak Prescott's status for Sunday is the subject of conflicting reports on Saturday. The Dallas Cowboys are back from their bye this week and preparing for the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday night. While the Vikings have been the focus of the team's coaching staff this week, just about every Cowboys fan has spent this time wondering, speculating, and debating on whether or not they think Dak Prescott will play.
I think it's a lot of like smoke and mirrors. Just because as a team, like, why would I want to tell you what I plan to do tomorrow? Even if they already know Dak's going to be out, I'm not going to tell you. There's nothing that says I have to tell you that.
So I'm going to read a series of tweets in chronological order. Calvin Watkins from the Dallas Morning News at 12:59 today p.m. says, I can't advise all of you when it comes to your fantasy teams, but I think Dak Prescott is playing and Mike McCarthy is playing with your emotions. And then the Dallas Cowboys tweeted back to business, and it's a picture of Amari, Trayvon, and Dak getting on the plane, and that was at 4:17. And then Michael Gelkin at 5:57 tweeted, it would surprise many close to the situation of Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott starts Sunday versus Vikings. Officially a game day decision, but Cooper Rush saw most of the meaningful reps during the week. Prescott was in Orange, Texas Friday following a grandmother's passing. He traveled with the team today. Hello. So that was kind of the latest we have.
Yeah, and his grandma died, like you said. So
Yeah,
just a rough week.
So he's like the article says, it would not be ridiculous for Prescott to play without seeing majority of the team's reps. He is the unquestioned starter, extremely experienced, and one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. The wording of this tweet, though, is interesting, though, in that the surprise would be if Prescott started, but perhaps we are all so exhausted from the story that we are now reading that into it. So, yeah, to me, if Dak doesn't play, this game becomes extremely
Losable.
well, of course, but it becomes, for me, extremely laborious to watch. Like,
What are you doing with those big words?
it becomes a job to watch it. It's going to be hard to watch because now we're going right back into last year, going through having to watch Andy Dalton, Garrett Gilbert,
If we had Andy
Ben
Dalton in this
DiNucci.
game, I would feel pretty confident. This is more of a
all that. It just, it reminds me of that. My heart wants Dak to play. My heart says we need to win this game. You need to win every game.
Well-
but my head says we have such a bad division. We have such a lead in the division. I don't want this to turn into
a lingering issue.
January and we're still dealing with it or he's out. So my head says sit him.
I think I agree with you because I think you're right when you said the division's so bad because we already have like a 3.5, something ridiculous.
We have a
like
3-game lead.
3-game lead through like 6 games, and the gap's just gonna widen. So it's a game that, I think if we play Cooper, get him some experience, if it, probably lose, but still feel good about it because I doubt we'll get blown out. We'll probably lose by like under 7 points. In fact, we have predictions here we can talk about, but I just don't want it to be a lingering thing, like you said. So if we have to risk them one more week and take this L, and it's not a guaranteed L because we still have very good receivers with Gallup coming back. We have Collins coming back for protection.
I don't think Gallup's back. I think he's taking one more week.
All right. Well, we still got Cedric Wilson as our 3.
Yeah, no.
We got, great running backs. Like, it's not like he's everything for us. Like, we have weapons all around. Our defense is stepping up. So I think if this was like week 17, win or go home, he plays. If this was playoff, he plays. This is what, week 7 or 8?
7, yeah.
7, and it's something that if he gets a few more days rest on, a week for sure, he'll be good. I'm with you, man. Just set him because this isn't like a make or break game for us.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There are still, of course I'm going to watch. I've watched 4 and 12 seasons.
I was going to say, you say it's going to be a job to watch, but come 7:30, Landry's going to have to be off the streets, done trick-or-treating so you can watch this game.
Yeah, Lauren already knows the deal tomorrow. But there's still other storylines I want to see. I want to see Diggs. Is he going to shadow Justin Jefferson? And or is he going to stick to his side and just take either Thielen or Jefferson?
What's he been doing, Does he stick to one side?
He sticks to one side.
Yeah, then I bet that's...
I can't say that. He does. It's situational. And Mike, I almost said Mike Nolan.
Fuck that guy.
Dan Quinn does a good job of disguising things and switching things up in that defensive backfield. So
Speaking of which, I think Kelvin Joseph might be coming back.
I think he might be back too. That may be.
That could probably just be little subs in, but still, get him some experience.
Yeah, that may be one more week as well.
Next week we're gonna be so good.
Yeah.
You have any predictions? Or are you still talking?
Well, it's hard. If Dak plays,
Yeah.
If Dak plays, I think we win 31-24.
Ooh, that's close to what I had. What about without him?
Without him, I think we lose 33-20. Because the line before we were 2.5 point favorites before the Dak injury stuff. After it, we were 2.5 point dogs. For Vegas to move the line 5 points,
that's a big swing.
That's Vegas rarely gets it wrong.
Dude, it's eerie how accurate they are. Have you ever looked at like on our fantasy sports?
Yeah.
Where it'll be like they're projected and or I was watching, like they'll do it like on for basketball, they'll do like the over under combined points and then like I forgot what the other one was. Combined points and something else, and I'm like, they're within like 1 or 2 points every time. Like it's just eerie how accurate they can be.
Yeah.
Well, I got with Dak, I got us winning 31-21 without Dak. I got us fucking winning 21-17. And I got a couple over-unders for you for the game real quick.
All right, hit me with them.
All right, if Dak plays, over-under 300 passing yards.
If Dak plays,
If he plays, over-under 300.
that's over.
That's an over. Okay. Without Dak, so Cooper, 220 passing yards.
Under.
I got combined rushing yards, so Pollard and Zeke, 175 yards.
I'm hitting the under because the front four for Minnesota is playing a lot better.
And they can stack the box.
Everson Griffin decided he wanted to play this year, so he's actually doing well.
Wasn't he in Minnesota before he came to us?
Yeah.
So he went back and decided to play?
Yeah,
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, Danielle Hunter is a really good player for them.
He's really fucking good.
You've got Eric Kendricks leading, that linebackers there, and then you've got Sendejo and Xavier Woods.
Harrison Smith too, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, not Sendejo. Harrison Smith. I got my white safeties mixed up.
One of two that you got mixed up.
Yeah, and then they've got Xavier Woods, former Cowboy, who's playing really well for him. So
I always liked Xavier Woods. Maybe it's because he's such a late round draft pick.
Yeah, I think he was a 6th rounder or something like that. I think they can play the run, so I'm going under.
All right, team sacks, 2.5.
Over. I think we get to Kirk.
Turnovers, 1.5 or 1.5.
Under. I think Diggs' streak ends as well.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask. Because that's ridiculous, dude. That's such a crazy streak. It's bound to end sometime.
I think it's under. I think it's under on the turnovers. We may get a fumble or something, and I think
Cousins is like tied for the league with like least turnovers for a
but
too.
He's
having a good year.
There is that stigma that follows him that he just folds in big
Prime
games.
time.
He can't
Prime
play
time
in
games,
prime
yep.
time, so it's not noon. So we do have that going for us.
Do you know where this game is?
It's in Minnesota.
I thought last year we played them in Minnesota.
No, because they were getting on the plane. So it's in Minnesota. I saw a tweet with him getting on the plane.
I guess we played them here last year because it was Dalton that won that game for us, right?
Yeah, it was. You know what? I want to say it was there too because I remember.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I remember that
CeeDee Lamb and then Thielen
CD
came
catch.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they'll
Crazy.
do it 2-2 over there.
I don't think there's any rule that they have to alternate though.
Yeah, I mean that's what I assumed was like, well, if we played there, then they play here, whatever. But yeah, there's no rule.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting. I know I'm gonna be glued to Twitter all day and
You can keep me
keeping
updated.
track. Yeah, I'll kind of let you know as things start to come out. But I just think Dak is so important to this team. Where he proved his worth last year with him being gone. He's proved it this year. I think the injury last year had a lot to do with his calf injury. Yeah. Anytime you have a catastrophic injury like that,
Is it the same leg though?
different leg, but still you're compensating. Other parts start to compensate for the parts that were hurt or injured, and you kind of see it all the time. I don't want this to turn into. I think Aaron Rodgers in either 12 or 16, he had a nagging calf that just kept. He played through it. And if this was a playoff game or a Super Bowl,
Right.
obviously Dak would play.
That's why I think it's a good time to sit because we have the divisional lead. It's midseason, and you do not want this to come back and bite you in the ass.
I still, yeah.
I if I was making a decision, I would say, dude, just sit. We could still win this game. It's not like we're going up against like Buffalo or one of these teams that's like could be Final Four.
Yeah, and even with the loss, even though one team only gets home field in a bye, or I should say a bye,
Just about, yeah.
I still think even with the loss, we're there because Green Bay and Arizona played on Thursday, and me, you, and Alex were talking in the group chat. I don't see them being miles ahead of us.
I think who's
we're right
better
there.
than us is still Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
I think that's who you're trying to catch. I think we're better than Arizona and Green Bay, and however the playoff alignment works, I think if you could avoid Green Bay until like ideally the NFC Championship, because I do think Tampa Bay is the best team right now. Probably them and like Buffalo. I think Tennessee's really fucking good, dude. Tennessee just keeps impressing me.
I think us, Tampa, Green Bay, and Arizona. I think if we played each team 10 times, I think it's 5-5. I think they're that close.
I'm still not a big believer in Arizona.
the same argument could be made against us too, against Dak and this defense. The two dudes I don't want to see is freaking Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady in the playoffs.
I can 100% agree with that.
I do not want to see those dudes.
Yeah,
so maybe
fuck them in the
maybe
playoffs,
we
dude.
can get them to play each other before we have to play them. I don't know. That's too much math for this late in the
Let me
night.
just say,
but
though, the Aaron Rodgers memes have been great this
Oh,
week. Once he got
God.
knocked on his ass
Oh,
for
my
him and his chin
dude.
strap up, I've seen so many great
dude,
ones
there's
this
so
week.
good ones. There's so many good ones.
So keep that coming. I love seeing.
There
them
was like
getting late.
one. It was like when you're stoned and you forget you put a pizza in the oven 4 hours ago. And it's like his face, like his chin strapped across
It's
his
just
nose.
absolute like shock and horror on his face.
Oh man. But yeah,
We'll have to use that template and make it like a Mild and Lazy Guys podcast.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
when you said you were going to release an episode 4 weeks ago,
A month later,
1 month later.
one picture could be like nice, shiny Aaron Rodgers saying we're going to release a month, next week, and then the other one with him on the ground a month later.
1 month later, still haven't watched the movie yet.
Oh man. But yeah, I think I sit him. I think you need to think long term here.
Yep. I agree.
So, yeah. So it'll still be interesting. I'm still gonna watch, even though I'm not looking forward to watching Cooper Rush play for 3 hours.
I'm looking forward to Tony Pollard getting about 250 total yards and 6 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, that's something we have to mention. Me and Andrew are playing each other this week in fantasy.
Yep.
So
And one of us has got to lose, and his name is Matt.
I've already lost 5 times. I mean, oh well if I lose another one.
I think I've lost 4 times. We're bottom feeders at this point, man.
But Tony Pollard can suck it. But yeah, it should be fun. I think we're going to be really close. I made a big trade this week. May come back to bite me in the ass. I traded.
Yeah, I felt bad because everyone immediately was like, "Wow, look at this other, look at Brandon's team."
Yeah.
And it's like, sorry, but like, hey, I thought you did pretty good. But everybody's like, "Man, his team is so stacked now. Like, why would Matt do that?"
I traded DK Metcalf for DeAndre Swift.
I think Swift's a great player. And,
He is a great player.
And DK is only really going to take off. I think Brandon was planning ahead because that's a move you want to make in 3 or 4 weeks when Russ is back.
And I need to win now. I need some help.
So that's why it helps you out. He's thinking ahead, and you're thinking right now.
Yeah, because
so that's why it
DK
benefits both of you.
DK is without Russ and is going to be for the next at least 2 weeks. And then who knows how he plays when he comes back.
But
Even
DK is, what's his name? Swift is just the king of just like dump off passes where he can take a screen and go 80 yards. You know? He's like Kamara, and you have Kamara on your team.
Yeah, so my running backs is Alvin Kamara.
That's a
and
great two-headed
DeAndre
beast.
Swift. And then I still have Tyler Lockett. Julio Jones needs to figure his shit out over in
And
Tennessee.
he's been a tough fantasy player to own for like his whole career.
Yeah.
I think he's had double-digit touchdowns like once. I get it. PPR league, he can get you, 80 catches, 1,200 yards. But I'm glad you got him on your team and not me.
Oh, man, but it should be fun. So I know we'll be talking shit to each other tomorrow. But, yeah, so that's what's going on in Cowboy land. One other thing I wanted to mention is Deshaun Watson, Mr. Handjob himself.
That's what he says when he rolls over.
Mr. Handjob. I saw a kind of a shocking tweet, a trade rumor.
Is that real? Because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking it up, but the tweet said Panthers are willing to part with 3 high picks and Christian McCaffrey in a package for Deshaun Watson.
I would
insanity.
rather give up more picks and keep Christian McCaffrey because imagine that combo.
Even though Christian McCaffrey is injury prone, he does get hurt a lot. I just don't think I'm moving on from that guy.
He's still like, just if you play fantasy, he's going to be like a top 2, 3 pick.
He was number 1 this year.
He was number 1, yeah, and going forward, presumable future, he's going to still be a top, 5 pick even 5 years from now or whatever if he can stay healthy. That's what I'm saying though. He's so super productive. He can get you 1,000 rushing yards easy, 1,000 receiving yards easy. Not many guys can ever do that.
Yeah, so
in Stanford he returned kicks. I know he won't do that now because of injury and you got to protect him, but he's just so fucking good. Why would you give up your best player and multiple picks? I can say you can have McCaffrey and some shitty picks, or you can have really good picks and no McCaffrey. But to give up both,
And there's still no telling.
yeah, and then the guy you get could be suspended
Because Goodell has suspended people for less.
Oh, way less. Just as Zeke.
Looking at you, Zeke. But yeah, so that's kind of the NFL stuff going on. Cowboys, Vikings tomorrow, 7:30, Sunday Night Football, Halloween. Like I said, it's gonna be a cool scene, cool night. Got the kids. Get your kids. Get them trick or treating. Start about 5. Get them off the street about 6:30.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Give you time to get in the house, get whatever snacks ready, get them a couple pieces of candy, off to bed. Boom, you're in the recliner by 7:30, listening to who does it now?
Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah, no, who does the opening? The song.
Oh,
it's not
Carrie
is it Carrie
Underwood or something. Yeah, never gets me fucking hyped up to watch football, dude. It's the least I get is hyped up.
Can I get some Hank Williams back, please?
That'd be great. Well, junior or the third.
Third,
You know, the
yeah,
third's
the
in
third.
like metal band and stuff.
Hey, metal version of Are You Ready for Some Football?
That would be great. They should make it like a Hank Williams just tradition. Just keep going down the line.
Just down the
Even if the fourth
down the
sucks,
bloodline.
just give them the job.
All right, so let's wrap it up with what are we watching and what are we listening to, and we will get out of here. What you got, Andrew?
Listening to, you just want me to get them all, get them out of the way.
Let's go.
I had one. This is on Spotify. It's called the Springfield 3.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that?
Yep, very good.
Yeah, story takes place on June 7th, 1992. 3 women, they just straight up disappeared, like from their house. Like 2 of them just graduated high school. One was their mother. They said when they, people went to the house later to look for them, like all their purses were lined up, all their stuff was like neatly there. It's like they just disappeared into thin air, and this has been almost 30 years and no one's ever heard from them ever again. Presumably dead, but I mean, there's been speculation that like aliens came and took them. That's how like pristine this thing was. Like there was no
that's
sign
just
of
lack
of
of
evidence. There's no. They're like, look, we don't know what happened, so we can't rule out like aliens and shit like that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just wild.
you have nothing to go on when you're willing to bring up aliens.
That's just like last ditch effort. This one also on Netflix. Or I'm sorry, Spotify. It's called Firebug.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, that arsonist in L.A. Don't want to give too much away, but expect the unexpected on that one. So it's arsonist that actually kills people with his fires, and then he starts writing a book about it that he kind of parallels with like the real crime he's committed, and then once you find out who the main suspect is, pretty wild. I've been listening to a lot of Creepy, which is my spooky stories for Halloween. They have 31 Days of Horror, all original content. That's really good. Audible. I just finished up today, 11/22/63, the Stephen King book about time travel. It was about a 30-hour listen, so it took me a few weeks. Yeah, just because I can only listen to like so many hours per day of the same thing going on, so then I had to take a break. And that's when I'd listen to a podcast or ask you about something. Oh, and I did read that or listen to the first 2 seasons of Over My Dead Body.
Yeah,
the third one's still going, which you were going to talk about. So I'm going to wait so I can binge that. Got through all that, and then I'll let you do yours before I tell you what I'm watching.
Okay. So I'm still listening to Up and Vanished, season 3. First 2 seasons were great. Season 3 is about a missing indigenous woman up in Montana. And the cool thing about this podcast is he sometimes will have everything laid out and done all the investigation, ahead of time. But sometimes, like in this case, he'll take a 2-week break because we're listening as he's investigating. And so he'll have to take a week to let things develop and record and everything and then release an episode. And then Over My Dead Body, Fox Lake, that's the 3rd season. That one is about a sheriff who ended up dead, and then come to find out he's not exactly the man who everybody thought he was. So, yep. And then
I'm waiting just for that one to build up more episodes before I go through it.
And then, of course, this time of year I'm listening to About Them Cowboys with Kevin KT Turner, formerly of The Fan. Let's see what else. Trying to see if there's anything right here on the end of my previously listened that I need to go over. No, nothing really. Just those 2. And then what I've been watching. What have I been watching? I've kind of slowed down on the TV.
No Big Brother?
No,
You've watched every episode ever.
I haven't seen 4, 5, 6, 7, basically 4 through 9.
The really old ones. So
Yeah,
you got
the
caught
old
up
ones.
on the last 15 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man.
Yeah.
That's an impressive lack of commitment to your family and work just to watch Big Brother.
That's one reason why the watching side of things, because I planned on either picking back up like Married at First Sight, because they had a new season, but work's been really busy. I got moved into one of our senior guys' office because they're training me on some more advanced stuff. So I got moved away from my little isolated desk where I could watch.
You don't have to listen to Eric farting all day.
No, I could watch and listen and do whatever I wanted. So now I'm sharing an office with somebody and I'm getting hands-on training. So I really don't get to watch anything, even though I don't think he'd care. But
Yeah, but how cool is that, though, that you spent the first however long just binge watching Big
Big
Brother?
Brother?
And they're like,
Yeah.
hey, come get this more important, better job.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's been working so far.
yeah, so
Keep it up, man.
So yeah, I haven't really been watching anything. We did watch Hocus Pocus.
That's a classic.
Yeah, Halloween, and Landry's never seen it, so we watch Hocus Pocus,
I think Ellie would really like it.
and we watch Halloween Town.
Halloween.
Have you never seen Halloween Town?
Is it a kid movie?
Kiddish movie, yeah.
I still don't think I have.
You
No.
need to watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Ellie
Ellie would like it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Halloween Town. So, but yeah, that's it. What have you been watching?
I watched the new Black Widow on Disney. I really like that. It was like an origin story.
Mm-hmm.
And Scarlett Johansson is very pretty. On HBO, we watched The Way Down, which was the first 3 episodes are out, and the next 2 are said they come out like in the next year, so it's still ongoing. But it's about this lady named Gwen Shamblin Laurie. She was the founder of the diet program Way Down, like how you weigh yourself, Way Down.
Yeah.
Way Down Workshop, and the Remnant Fellowship. It's a Christian cult led by her, and how
That's all
they
you need to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. Just controlling, cult leader that manipulated people using weight and God. We started Squid Games, but we're not through it yet. We're through episode 6, and that one was a very tough episode. Have you watched any of them?
Mm-mm.
So anyone that knows I'm talking about, that was the Marbles episode. That one was tough, man. But it is very good. Like, I could see why people love it. Like,
They say it's going to be the most streamed show on on Netflix ever.
like sometimes the dialogue is, not the best, but then it's just like the writing is so good and the production and the set design is so good. Like everything else about it, and it's a really good show. Like you would obviously like it. We've been watching a lot of Ghost Adventures, mainly because it's Spooktober, but also because my pregnant wife loves that show.
Yeah.
And I can't argue with her. So if she wants to watch something scary, we just watch
She's
Ghost
the boss.
Adventures. Yeah, she's the boss. I'm like, that's fine. We'll watch one of these. Elizabeth and I started watching Adventure Time.
Mm-hmm.
That cartoon, that's a really fucking funny show. Like, she just likes it because it's ridiculous, and there's like, colorful rainbows and unicorns and all this random stuff, and I like it because the humor is actually like, really relevant and funny.
Hey, have you ever heard of the show called Big Mouth?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have a new episode or a new season coming out.
Shout out, Jacob.
I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart. I'm getting pretty fucking good at that.
Yeah.
So Ellie and I've been watching Adventure Time and playing Mario Kart, and we just watched Paranorman for our Halloween special.
that's good.
And that was a really good movie.
I did go to the movies. I took Landry to see Venom 2 or Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Dang, he wasn't scared.
No, dude, he's all about it. Edge of the seat and everything.
He's bloodlusting over it.
Nah, he's into kind of the Marvel stuff, and I don't get it. Is that not part of the Marvel universe?
I think it's weird. I think Sony owns that, but then like Disney owns Marvel. But I think there was a separate deal where Spider-Man is part of Sony, and they don't own that. I could be totally wrong, but I really feel like there was something about that when the deal went through, because Disney bought up a lot,
Yeah.
They bought up Star Wars, Pixar.
I wanted to watch
Marvel.
the first Venom because I hadn't seen it, and I wanted to show it
not
to
on
him.
Disney.
It's not on Disney,
Yeah.
so I was like, I thought it was a Marvel movie, or maybe it's like a parallel thing. I don't know.
I think Sony's the distributor.
But yeah, it was really good. Woody Harrelson plays the bad guy.
I love that guy.
He was spot on.
Woody's the man.
Tom Hardy was
That's who
good.
we should get on next time instead of Alex. We should get Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, let's just make a phone call.
Dude, that'd be way cooler. Sorry,
Yeah.
Alex. We're gonna try Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, sorry, you're out, dude. But yeah, it was good. Michelle Williams was in it. She still got her fastball.
She pretty.
Yeah, she's very.
Isn't that Heath Ledger's
Widow?
widow? Yeah, she pretty.
Very good looking. But yeah, it was really good, and he was all about it. I thought for sure he'd get scared, but nope, all about it.
He wanted more carnage.
More carnage. It was all about the carnage, but no, it was good. Always good to get out the movies and get your popcorn.
Dude, I'm excited to see The Shining this week.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sneak in some of that banana pudding Claire made. I'm just gonna be getting so high and eating banana pudding while watching The Shining on my birthday, and don't get much better than that.
I have been watching a series on YouTube. It's called This Is Monsters, or maybe it's just Monsters. He has a podcast version, but he also has a YouTube version as well. And I like the YouTube version as well, or better, because he has pictures and kind of as the story's going along, it shows pictures of who's who, pictures of the crime scene. There's a lot of court audio, so I don't know. I kind of digest it better when I can see the person talking in those, when there's court audio or something. And each season, it's themed. So like each season is something different. Like first one was maybe like jealous lovers. The second one was like familicide, which that's where one member of a family kills the rest of the family.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a term for that.
Yeah,
Damn.
familicide, and then there's like one specifically where a child kills parents. So that was like all of season 3, and then season 4 is like another kind of themed cases. So I've been watching those at night. Like I'll have my video games up on one monitor and then YouTube on the other, and I'll turn down the volume on the video game and just have that going, as kind of my audio. But yeah, I've been watching that. So I lied. I have been watching that, burning through that little series. So it's pretty good.
Well, I'm going to try to watch probably a horror movie tonight because it's almost midnight and I have to make a sacrifice. So,
well, that's my cue. So,
well, I got the doors locked, so we'll see how quick you are.
Well, I will not be seeing you guys next week because I'm going to die. But again, guys, we thank you for hanging in there with us. Thank you for everybody that's been reaching out to us, wondering where the episodes are. Thank you for listening. Have a happy Halloween. Happy birthday to Andrew next week. Happy birthday, Big Dog. But we're going to get out of here. So for Matt
and Eli,
rest in peace, Eli.
R.I.P., brother.
We're out.